take a minute and talk about weapon choices when it comes to what you're going to take in the field with you. There's a lot of options out there. What you choose, when you choose it, there's personal preferences there, there's seasons involved, there's legality in different states. So I'll kind of talk about weapons from, let's look at them from a spectrum, let's say. On one end of the spectrum, you're gonna have what I would consider your primitive archery, your recurves, your long bows. Other end of the spectrum, let's say you have long range rifles. So in between, you're gonna go from your recurves, your long bows, then you're gonna go compound bows, crossbows, then you're gonna get in your muzzle loaders, then let's say lever action rifles, then bolt action rifles, and then long range rifles. So of all of those weapon options, why would you choose one over the other? Well, that boils down to you. But sometimes for me, it's a function of how full is my freezer. If it's late in the season, and as much as I love to recurve hunt, if I still need some meat, I'm probably gonna grab a rifle to fill that freezer. But let's talk more about effective ranges. So when it comes to, on one end of the spectrum, the primitive archery spectrum, let's say you're talking about an effective range of inside 20 yards generally. So that means getting really close. Now, if you like the reward of getting close, it's a very, very rewarding style and way of hunting. It's also a very challenging way of hunting. So you might not fill the freezer if you're gonna dedicate the whole season to a recurve bow. That might be okay for you. The other benefit of starting early is seasons. So archery seasons generally open mid-August some places in southern states, or they generally open before rifle and other weapon seasons open later in the year. So if you want to hunt longer, you probably will hunt some with archery equipment and then move in to rifle equipment. So crossbows, you know, moving in if you have the archery spectrum, let's say a sub-spectrum in the group we're talking about, it's gonna go recurves, compounds, and then crossbows. So with recurves, let's say your effective range is 20 yards. With compounds, you're generally getting into the 40 to 60 yard range for most people. And then crossbows, let's say up to 80. Now crossbows aren't legal in all states, so you have to know your own regulations whether or not you can use them or not. But that's kind of your early season archery kind of options. Then you get into rifles, and the rifle spectrum, the sub-spectrum, is gonna start with muzzle loaders and shotguns. Again, your effective ranges on those are gonna be generally under 100 yards. And then you're gonna get into, say, lever action rifles and bolt action, where you're getting into hundreds of yards for ranges. And then now these modern long range rifles, guys are making shots that are over 600, 700, even further. So choosing that weapon, again, boils down largely to where do you hunt? You know, if you're hunting in dense cover, there might not ever be any point for using a rifle. You might enjoy the challenge of archery and getting close and having that challenge. If you're hunting out west, where terrain is more open, you can generally glass and see a lot longer. Shots are generally longer. Unless you are comfortable with a bow, hunting elk, let's say, if you can't make that shot, don't hunt during archery elk season. You wait for rifle season, and then you have good odds of getting within that bull within range, 100 yards or further. Now, one of the benefits of archery hunting is that it tends to happen during that time of year where animals get a little silly and let their guard down because it's breeding season. So that means grunting a whitetail in the range or rattling him in the range. He's gonna come in looking for a fight, or you're gonna come in looking for love. One of the two, but he's gonna come close and get you in bow range. Same thing with elk. Archery elk season tends to happen during the rut. So you can call those bulls, they're vocal, you can call them in, bring them in close to you versus you having to go after them. So another benefit of archery hunting is that you get to have those, enjoy that time of year when you can really engage vocally with an animal and work it and kind of get that extra level of engagement and intimacy with the animal during the hunt. Now, when it comes to filling the freezer, it's just like if you want to fill the freezer fishing, you're probably not going to grab a fly rod over a bait caster. Same thing with hunting weapons. So if it boils down to, hey, it's into the season and my priority is putting meat on our table for my friends and family, a rifle's your best bet. You're going to have the best accuracy and the most effective range possible with a rifle. So that's kind of a rundown of the spectrum of weapons that are out there. Again, You have to know your local state laws. You have to know what you like as a personal level of challenge and satisfaction, and then just get out and have fun.